The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
The Canucks have more of a chance to land Gavin McKenna than Nils Höglander has to being a Canuck for the duration of his contract. Is that what I just read? Is that correct?
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. In early July, here at the Don't Doze Art Lab, here on Locked On Canucks, my name is Kyle Bowen, and one love to you and you, and you and you, and you and you, for tuning in, for doing your thing, for being a part of this conversation. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about three players, okay, that I've been really thinking about a lot, including, one including being Nils Höglander, because I completely forgot that he had less than 10 goals last year, and he played a lot of hockey. Whoa, right? He was lucky that Pettersson and Miller hated each other. Right, he was lucky. Demko was dealing with the Papalias Papatias, but Pepto-Bismol. Okay, he was lucky because we wanted more of him. Right, we wanted Tocchet to play him more. We were blaming Tocchet more than we were blaming Höglander. But man, what a horrible season from Nils Höglander. And yeah, you best believe, right? Look at the cap situation. Look at who we don't have down the middle. I wonder if Nils Höglander is a long-term Canuck. Okay, so we'll get into that. We'll also talk about Gavin McKenna making some history, because I didn't know America and, American colleges could pay money for junior hockey players. Like, I knew about the situation involving, the NCAA and the football players and the basketball players, but I completely forgot about, the NCAA being a huge factory, right, of superstar talent in the NHL today, right? Just a strong league. Definitely been climbing up the ranks over the last 15 years. And yeah, the NIL, dude, they got the money, and I think they just paid a lot of money for Gavin McKenna. And this is why I wish my dream actually came true, right? My first dream, I want to be an NHLer, because I would have loved to make money playing hockey. A children's game. And Gavin McKenna, is he like 17 years old, 18 years old? And he's getting paid, what, $700,000, $1 million, whatever the number is, to play hockey at Penn State. What does that mean for the game of hockey? We'll get into that in 10 minutes. But first, let's talk about the Canucks, right? The Canucks, Nils Höglander, Dakota Joshua, Kiefer Sherwood. I want to get through this in 7 minutes, 8 minutes, talk about all these guys. And so many, how do I say it? Not question marks, but importance put on those three players individually going into next season, because this sounds crazy because Kiefer Sherwood did what Kiefer Sherwood did, but we need a lot more. Yes, a lot more from those guys. All those guys. Next season, if I want to lose less hair, if I want to find success, if I want to be happy once again. Now let's start with Nils Höglander again. What are the stats? I don't want a virus on my computer. I don't want to search up the Nils Höglander stats from last year. That's how bad he was. Straight up. Less than what? 10 goals, 8 goals, 9 goals, and 70 plus games. No consistency, and for some reason, not enough bite. For years and years and years. A big reason why, I love the potential of Nils Höglander, right, was because of, the flair and the skill, but also because he was a piece of shit. And I feel as if he's at that age now where he doesn't need the numbers, right? He doesn't need the puck going his way for him to have the amount of confidence to also be in the fight, okay? For Nils Höglander, you're at the point in your career where it's even if you aren't scoring, you got to stir it up, okay? You got to stir it up. You got to do something, as Jeff Patterson would say. So yeah, for large periods of times, right? Outside of the end of the season for Nils Höglander, just no confidence, no bravado. Him and Tocchet, again, they had that thing. Look at the way Tocchet looked at Nils Höglander at times during hockey games last year, right? Caught on camera, right? A disappointed father look. It scared me. I felt ashamed watching the way Tocchet would glance at a Nils Höglander mistake. Okay, a lot of people blaming Tocchet for Höglander's lack of development or lack of confidence, his lack of opportunity, which I get a little bit, but only to an extent because you got to blame Nils Höglander at this point. You got the extension, the team needed you. I'm not saying he's a big part of the core, a big part of the leadership group, but there is some need for a guy like that with that much talent, a second round pick from years and years and years and years and years ago. A guy who's proven in the past that he could score goals, a guy who was disappointing in the playoffs against the Oilers and against Nashville. There was a moment there for Nils Höglander to get better and help this team out, and he didn't. And now his new contract is kicking in, right? A $3 million player. There's definitely, yes, definitely, not just a pressure, but a need for Nils Höglander to just be way, way better. And if he's not, it's sad because you wonder, like, what could you get for him, right? Is he worth like a 5th round pick, a 6th round pick? Who knows? If he gets off to a good start on the other end of the spectrum, is like the key to bring I don't know, a second line center or just one of the keys, right? A big part of a deal. Because again, when he's at his best, there is a lot of value there. He's different. He got the offense. He got the piece of shit in him. He's hockey. So could he be valuable? Have that cachet? Such a X factor type of player. What do I think he's gonna do next year? I think he's gonna put up 46 points. Okay, I think he's gonna bounce back. And I think when the Canucks make the playoffs, again, you see him at his best. I'm gonna be hopeful. The sun is shining somewhere. It's 420 somewhere. I'm being optimistic. He's gonna deal with it this time around a lot better. Maybe the Taka thing was most taxing on Nils Höglander, and now he can just be a little free, right? And that's what you need, right? An instinctual honey badger. That's when Höglander's at his best. Not overthinking the game, right? And look, we got to get to this comment because this is it right here. Mel Vaughn saying all Canucks will see this as a fresh start. Höglander will see it as a fresh start, the start he needed. And yeah, hopefully other players as well. And that also includes Dakota Joshua, who probably needs the freshest of starts. Like, he's probably so excited to, have an actual offseason, train hard, prove himself, bring physicality. Another guy, right? Another guy who, when he's not scoring, he can do something. He's got the speed. He's got the body. Right? Before Kiefer Sherwood became a thing, Dakota Joshua was a thing, right? Just smashing quote unquote hit records to an extent, right? Prior to injury and whatnot. He was doing his thing, finishing all the checks, and that's what we need. We need more players to do something. And yeah, you're paying Dakota what? 3.25 a year, 3.5, 3.25, one or the other, tomato, potato, potato. You definitely want a layer of offense there, but you just hope the speed is there and he's in game shape, just so he can be engaged more often than not. Because with his size and his ability to, be good around the net, but more so just be a nuisance, right? With his ability to also be a good penalty killer, you just want this guy being fresh. This guy could impact the game, and I'm rooting for him. I do not want this guy to be a salary dump. Who would I much rather lose, Höglander or Dakota Joshua? Let me know in the comments. But at their best, who would you rather lose to help bring you something else down the middle, right? You need the cap space. Maybe they got cachet. They're valuable. Who would you rather lose? Because to me, it's Höglander. I want to keep Dakota Joshua if both players are at their best. And again, I like Höglander. I just gave him 46 points. But when Josh was at his best, again, a good penalty killer, right? Brings the heat. He also brings the points. When him and Garland are going together, we saw it for a little bit. There's some flair there. There's probably still 40 points as well, but then you got the size. You got the size. And I know size shouldn't matter, right? I'm a master at that. I've been dealing with that statement for my whole life, okay? My whole active life, if you know what I'm saying. But man, Garland, Lekarabaki, Höglander, do you need all those guys on the same team? You're going to extend Kiefer Sherwood fairly soon. We're going to get to in a couple of minutes. But do you really need Höglander? In that question, right? Who would you rather have? Joshua or Höglander at their best? Again, I'm not gonna use the term disappointing season for Joshua, but if you look at their numbers, to some extent, you see like a very similar drop off. And I know it's asking for a lot, but hey, now they're getting paid a lot. We need both those guys to find their form once again. Let's talk about Kiefer Sherwood on the other side, okay? He's the last guy I want to talk about today. Rumored to be, possibly signing an extension sometime this summer, right? Alvin's talking to him. Let's talk about that number. And again, let's talk about the need for this guy to be just as good, if not better. And emphasis on if not better. I want the miracle, okay? Who it is what it is. And we'll also get to your comments as well. Höglander versus Joshua. At their best, who would you rather have? Both talented, both good. I'd keep Joshua. Let me know in the comments. And we'll get back to this episode of Locked On Canucks. But first, we gotta show some love to FanDuel. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Yes, FanDuel. Trevor's favorite app. He likes to play FanDuel with his daughter. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but it is what it is, right? And baseball season is in full swing. No pun on words, but you could still use FanDuel. Bet responsibly, do your thing, and you could win big, right? New customers right now get what? $5 in their pocket, right? They have it in their pocket. $5, not a lot. And they can use that $5. And if they, use FanDuel with that $5 and win their first $5 bet, they'll get what? $150 in bonus bets. As you can tell, Trevor does the ad reads, okay? That's placing a $5 bet with your money. You win that bet, boom, bam, you get $150 in bonus bets if that first bet does win. That's it, right? Parlays, boom, bam, $5, boom, bam, $150 in bonus bets. Visit FanDuel.com for more information. One love to FanDuel. Let's get back to the show. People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks and also talking to you and you and you and you. Let's get to some comments again here on Locked On Canucks. Okay, Space Whales is saying I would pick Höglander all day. Melvon saying Höglander has more upside. And Green saying Dak is easier to replace IMO. Damn, Dakota Joshua, easy to replace. Green said it. I didn't say it. Joshua, if you're watching this, Green said it. Bowen didn't say it, okay? It is what it is. Joshua, man, wishing you nothing but the best. Now let's get to one more comment. This one comes from Dan Jardine, okay? Pedersen, Höglander, and Besser was a good line before injuries knocked 2/3 out of the lineup. Dude, we got a, I don't want to say forget completely about all the good things that happened last year. But last year sucked. Okay, I'm not even taking any good things with a grain of salt. Okay, and last year sucked due in large part to Höglander not bringing it. Okay, like Pettersson not bringing it, like Joshua not being able to bring the same amount of production. Other guys having down years. Besser, right? Besser having a down season. Dude, a lot of people just sucked. So many bad things happened that, again, at this day and age, July 8th, 3:00, I'm not even taking much of the good with a grain of salt right now on this episode of Locked On Canucks, okay? It is what it is. You know what? That's actually a lie, because we're about to talk about Kiefer Sherwood, okay? Kiefer Sherwood is, like, Quinn Hughes was the MVP, but Kiefer Sherwood was the guy, right? The new guy. Right? His career year last year was way more impressive than Dakota's career year a couple seasons ago, from Höglander's career year a couple years ago, right? Kiefer Sherwood is just that guy. Has a Garland-like motor to him, but I would say his motor is even higher. And he got opportunity last year, to be the guy to also, play at certain point, at certain spots in the lineup. And what did he do? He delivered. And he just wasn't getting it done easy. A couple Vancouver Canuck highlight reel-esque goals scored off of that guy's stick last season. Okay? Going top shelf, scoring like a goal scorer, doing his thing. And breaking the NHL hit record. The guy is, I don't know if I'm, and sniffing that grain of salt, but to me, the guy's got like star potential to him, okay? Something could happen here. He could be one of the more popular players in hockey if he, surpasses his offensive numbers and still brings that same dog. The guy's entertaining. The guy might be special. And, we need it. We need it. It sounds crazy because we got it last year. But we kind of need, two things to happen. We need to extend Kiefer Sherwood right now, right? Save some money for when he elevates once again. I know he's 30 or 29 or whatever, and he's reached his peak and he, blah, blah. Dude, 30-year-olds can make it too. I'm 32, so don't be saying that ish, okay? I take offense to that. I don't believe it. I can't believe it. Manifestation. Do the math. But, I believe Sherwood could take the next step. What is that? Is that 25 goals? Is that 50 points? Is that 45 points? Is that still the same number of hits? Is that him feeling that much swagger going into the playoffs? Because you could tell that guy could make work in the playoffs. Be a nuisance. Be more than an X factor. Be one of the best players in that series. Kind of similar to what he did against Vancouver a couple seasons ago. But again, with that flair, with that confidence, with that goal scoring. And riddle me this. I think I said that right. What happens if Pettersson and Miller are actually good last year, being dominant offensive centers? What happens to Sherwood's numbers if he had a guy like that to play with? Or one of those guys, again, was his running mate while he was feeling the way he was feeling, while he was converting on that shooting percentage bender or whatever. But what would his numbers look like? Hey, man, the guy delivered. Again, before the season started last year, Sat was saying what? What was the tweet? 70 goals for Kiefer Sherwood, 60 goals, breaking Pavel Bure's records. I'm paraphrasing just a bit, but Kiefer Sherwood delivered a lot more than we expected, and just based on his demeanor and whatnot, I feel as if there's a chance, a small chance that he gets even better. And being hopeful aside, like, just think about if that's the truth, right? Think about the way he speaks to the media. Think about that threat that he had towards Jason Dickinson after Jason Dickinson almost killed Filipino. I'm sorry for saying that, getting Law and Order on us. But that was, dude, almost ended the man's hockey career. And what the Kiefer Sherwood say, I'm paraphrasing just a bit, but you better watch out. You better watch out. When we play you next, it's Dickinson versus Sherwood, right? I think so. Jason Dickinson, man, one of the biggest dicks in hockey. No. What I meant to say, like, he's an asshole for doing that to Filipino. Okay. Kiefer Sherwood, I want you to elevate. I want you to be a more popular player in hockey. Would be a good leader. You know, if you had some of that cachet. This Canucks team needs a lot more out of Kiefer Sherwood, okay? And that's the bottom line, because my name's Kyle Bound, and I approve of this message. Anyways, let's hop on to the other side of the show. We'll just read some comments, then get out of here. You're listening to another episode of Locked On Canucks. People, we back doing this, and that's reading your comments here on Locked On Canucks. This is coming from Mother Knucker saying, Philip Brittle. Are you making fun of Filipino? Okay, Mother Knucker, man. Just smell the rose. It is what it is. Let go of last year. I know you love JT Miller more than me, right? It is what it is. But calling Philip Brittle, man. Philip Brittle, man. He's on your team, man. Imagine if he was watching this episode and he's like, yo, Mother Knucker called me brittle. I have concussion problems. Come on, man. I'm on my hippie stuff right now. Okay, I've been reading books again, man. Reading Malcolm Gladwell. Okay? I know it's redundant, but I'm feeling like my old self again. Philip Brittle, man. Filipino should be able to sue you for saying that's bullying, man. Okay, what do we got next? Cito saying Miller did not blossom until his late 20s. I think you're maybe alluding this comment to me thinking Sherwood could, elevate, level up. Right? You can get better at the age of 28, 29. And no, dude, I'm going to prove it too. You can get better in your 30s. Okay? On this note, though, Miller didn't blossom until his late 20s. Again, Filipino, 25, 26. Yeah, he's got concussion history and whatnot. But like I said, man, I got hugged by my girlfriend yesterday, man. I'm feeling good and optimistic. Yo, Filipino could elevate. Like, he's got opportunity here for the first time in his career. We saw what he did in spurts last season. Some of it was fun and exciting. I don't know. There's a lot of enthusiasm to his game. At 26 or whatever, however old he is, I just feel like, he could live up to his name. Okay, what does Hedl mean in Czech Republic? I don't know, but I'm assuming it means effing awesome, okay? He could be effing awesome. I just flipped the script, okay? Shout out to Philip Hedl. Oh, man. Okay, Dan Jardine saying Kiefer is awesome. A 3-year extension would make some sense. Yeah, 3 years would be good. I'm gonna say 4. I think he deserves it, man. A career NHL. A career hockey player outside the NHL before he becomes like a full-time NHLer, right? Wasn't he like still pretty much a full-time AHLer up until he was like 27 or 28? Right, what an inspiration. And don't get me wrong, playing in the AHL is a blessing too, right? You're just playing the children's game, making some decent money, but it's not the dream. And he kept that in. Look at him, man. I feel as if this guy is, again, contract year next year too. Like, there's a chance that this guy might score 100 if he doesn't have a contract going into next season, right? Dog on a bone, whatever that means. He's that guy. The motor to this guy, again, he's taking the long road to get here. This is the way he speaks, his demeanor, okay? You don't sound like a robot. There seems to be a character there, a main energy character, and I don't feel like he's going to let this go. He's giving me like main event UFC character type guy right now, okay? He might go on a championship run. So again, connecting that to Dan's comment, a 3-year contract, a 4-year contract, whatever it is, how much money are we paying him? Mother Knucker saying he should be locked in at that $3 million to $3.5 million dollar hit based on his age. I mean, we just saw Pius Suter just get 4, right? So 3.5. If they can get that done and this guy actually turns into like a 20 to 25 goal scorer for the next couple of years, this guy might be the steal in the NHL. I know a lot of people talk about Jack Hughes and whatnot, but yo, if you can get Kiefer Sherwood, I know, I just comparing Jack Hughes to Kiefer Sherwood. This is nuts. This is nuts. Again, it's 420 somewhere. But again, at his value, and if he can just do the most, and he's scoring 20 a year, but he's still banging bodies. Banging bodies. He's just that guy. Imagine him in the playoffs. Again, Quinn Hughes' favorite player, left the mark. There could be, I wouldn't say another level, because we've used that term a lot, but there could be, again, his moment to be that main character in April and May and June, based on what we've seen. Again, the NHL hit record, his tenaciousness, and his skill. Again, go back to the highlight package, right? 19 goals last year. It's not 50, but he could have had more, and just look at the quality of some of those goals. Right? It was sexy. It was quality. It was Sherwood making things happen, being a good hockey player. Anyways, speaking of good hockey player, Gavin McKenna, right? Gavin McKenna, somewhat related to the Vancouver Canucks. Why? Because, I don't know. Again, I'm 32 and a half years old. The Canucks have not been consistently good since I was, 18 and 19 years old. Which is crazy. Do the math. The one time they made the playoffs in my 20s, it was the COVID time. That means I'm not going to the bar in my 20s to enjoy playoff Canuck hockey. You know how depressing that is? Dude, that's crazy. Again, they say dreams don't come true. I didn't make the NHL, and I didn't watch an NHL playoff game at a bar with my homies in my 20s. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. So again, that relates to Gavin McKenna, because if you do the math, that's the Canucks, potentially being in position, because they're in the NHL, to draft a generational player 3 times, right? Like, if my math is correct, I guess you could throw Matthews in the mix too. 4 times, like McDavid, Matthews, Connor Bedard, if he lives up to it, and Gavin McKenna, right? So anytime like another generational player comes around in this time, and I'm looking at prior history, and I'm like, holy crap, the Canucks are one of the worst teams in hockey over the last 5 years, over the last 10 years. Like, their point total is just so putrid. It's like in between being in the middle of the pack and, oh yeah, they had some down seasons, yet they never landed the number 1 pick. And again, we don't know what's going to happen next year, right? I'm wishing nothing but the best of the guys who are representing our city, representing our neighborhood, being the superheroes the city needs, the blue and green. But life happens, right? Life happens. Injuries happen. What happens? What happens if Quinn Hughes, I don't want to say. What happens if Thatcher Demko, I don't want to say. What if Pedersen didn't go to the gym this summer? I don't want to say. But who knows what's going to happen next year? And Gavin McKenna is at the end of the tunnel. So, yeah, you look at what I just said, who knows? You look at the Canucks being historically bad over the last 10 years, and this could be a very, I stress out. I overthink these things. But again, Gavin McKenna at the end of the journey, I'm thinking about him, and then I'm realizing again that he just made history today. And this may change the game forever. Again, I don't pay attention to the prospect stuff. Everything that I know when it comes to junior hockey is stuff I've accumulated in my early life, right? Being 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. When you're kind of tapped into the CHL and whatnot, and seeing what's happening, and look at what we just saw. We just saw Gavin McKenna rip it up, right? Connor McDavid numbers, surpassing, just doing his thing, being generational, proven in the CHL that, I'm one of the best damn players playing the game of hockey on earth right now. Right now. That's how damn good he's looking. I know he's a junior player, but he's one of the best hockey players in the world right now. And he did his thing with a medicine hat. And I didn't know he could just jump ship and switch teams in the summer like he's a free agent. And now he's going to Penn State to the NCAA. And, he's making a ton of money. He went from making what? $500. I'm paraphrasing just a bit, playing for Medicine Hat and just, getting unlimited Red Robins and stuff and Boston Pizza. And now he's making what? How much? I read something that is $700K. The people on Spittin' Chicklets were they brought up the word $1 million. Someone says $750,000. I thought they were joking, but then again, I've seen other people talk about it as well, and how this is legal now, and that's cool. That's cool. Like, I don't know what that means for Canadian junior hockey, but holy, why the hell are you going to play in the CHL? Right? If you could live not with a random family, but you're in your own dorm in some college, and you just, playing hockey and going to the gym and I don't know, taking history, social stuff, whatever you take in college down there, and make a ton of money and still make it to the NHL. Like, and the fact that this has been around for a couple of years maybe, but now we got Gavin McKenna, like generational guy making the switch. Like, dude, this changes the game forever, right? I don't know if I'm exaggerating, but I'm like, how does the CHL compete with this? Because Gavin McKenna's cool. He's a superstar. He's a brand, right? Right? He's like etched in the game of hockey. That's what his potential is showing me. And let's be real and let's be honest. Like, roll the film from a couple months ago. I don't have it downloaded right now, but he might have scored one of the nicest hockey goals I've ever seen in my life. And that's not me paraphrasing or exaggerating. That guy's ridiculous. He's new age, right? Again, noteworthy, and he's the one that was like, yo, thank you, Medicine Hat, for the 1 year. We made it to the Memorial Cup final. We made it to the end. But come on, I'm going to Penn State. Screw the Memorial Cup. That's what he said. The biggest prize in the CHL. Yo, this changes everything. A lot of the top prospects, like, I hope what they do, especially the Canadians, like, I hope they play at least one season. Like, do it for the game. Play one season representing these small towns and these small communities and their junior teams, but play one season before you jump ship. Like, pull the McKenna. Don't join the NCAA right away, right? Because then the games, then the CHL is done, isn't it? So just be Canadian. Do it for 1 year. Maybe that's the rule right now. I hope that's the rule. Again, I'm not tapped in. I'm not a dictionary when it comes to junior hockey. I hope that's the rule for the CHL's sake, because damn, why would you want to play in the CHL? You know what I'm saying? Tell me about it. Let's read some more comments. It could be about anything that we talked about today, but dude, the McKenna news is huge, and yeah, go Canucks. Okay, McKenna, this comes from Mother Knocker. McKenna is an idiot for not going to Michigan State, arguably the top college and ranked in the top 3. Yo, again, maybe McKenna has that swagger to him too, where he's like, I'm going to put Penn State on the map. And again, I don't know college hockey. I don't know, right? I just, you tap into it at the end of March and whatnot, because some, like, I don't know, Adam Gaudette is playing for whatever school he was playing for, and like, fast forward to the now, Höglander on Boston University. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're Besser on North Dakota. Like, you know those things, right? Damko on Boston College. Like, you tap in every once in a while. I don't know the history of the game. Like, is Penn State not known for like, I don't remember hearing that name a lot in the Frozen Four. I don't know. Maybe they made it this year. Maybe McKenna wants to put Penn State on the map, and that's cool. That's cool. And how about this too, man? How about like McKenna being the poster child for this type of transfer? And again, can somebody confirm how much money he's making? But imagine being a young kid making that much money and like now having the responsibility of, putting the school on. Because again, that's probably been the case for some college players in the past. But the fact that there's like 6 to 7 digits on top of that, that notion or that deal, of you joining a school, like, now that money's involved and money being the root of all evil, dude, this is crazy. Like, that guy, the guy might be a dog. He's like, yeah, I want the smoke. Let's do it. Something else. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. My name's Kyle Bowen. One love to the Don't Art Lab for giving us the space to give you that West Coast bias. Go Canucks, go. Let me know who in the comments, who would you rather have at their best? Nils Höglander or Dakota Joshua. I said Joshua. I get the case for Höglander too. Don't get me wrong. I think it's by the slimmest of margins. And I picked Joshua more so because we got like small guys on this team already playing prominent roles. Okay. So I like the size. I watched too much playoff hockey this year. I fell in love with size again. Okay. Hit the like button, subscribe to the show. Tell your Canuck pals that they should maybe listen to this too, because, we're more than average. Size don't matter. And yeah, go Canucks, go. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.